Nelson, is it a good result tonight?
Yeah, it's not bad to get a point here. Lille are a good team, and I feel like we did enough to win the game, but to come away for a point to still be in second, it's not the end of the world.
Should Jamaica finalize all documentation for Mason Greenwood? Which of the two players do you think complements him? Is it a Reece Nelson or a Jonathan Rowe? Join Premier 7 right now for the big chat. It is not what the coach knows, it is what his players have learned. This is a quote written by graciouscoach.com as it links directly to the system that coach should ensure that is in proper shape should in case all those players of expectation and hope will be a representation of Jamaica football system. Greetings and welcome to another episode on Premier 7, everyone. I am your host, Ryan Nelson. I do trust and hope that you all are having a wonderful time as I am here to speak about a topic of importance surrounding the statement Nelson or Rowe, the perfect partner for Greenwood in Jamaica's system. Now, we already know that Mason Greenwood has switched his allegiance to play for the Jamaica men's national team. It's just a matter of time for his documents to be finalized. And hey, I don't know when, but let's hope before World Cup 2026 arrives. Reece Nelson is a very popular name that has been talked about for a very long time in the Jamaica space. And I myself is a fan. I myself has done videos covering Reece Nelson, but he has not been in the Jamaica system. On the other hand, Jonathan Rowe, a player that have Jamaica eligibility to represent me, and his name has not been talked about that much. Was he even approached by the Jamaica Football Federation? So my video here today is all about which one of these players would suit a Mason Greenwood in the Jamaica system should all documentations finalized for the forward. And I want to say, people, that this important video came from a poll that I have put together. And it is all about the question, should Mason Greenwood document become final and Jamaica finally get him, who would complement him better on the wing? So far, 18 votes, with Leon Bailey being the main man with 44%, followed up by Equality, 22%, Demarai Gray and Reece Nelson, and then 11% representing a Jonathan Rowe. I don't want to talk about Bailey and I don't want to talk about Demarai Gray. So far, based on what was being represented, then it is not conclusive based on finality to say then that, Reece Nelson is a better option. But based on the poll, it is trending in that way. So I am here now to make a difference as a content creator, to let you know who, not only by with my opinion, but based on details shared as to which of the two players would be a better option for a Mason Greenwood. The latest news on Mason Greenwood is that he's tearing it up in Marseille, right? And did you guys saw that screamer that he scored in League One? If you haven't, then you need to revisit that because it was a 3-1 victory against Le Havre. And that was a screamer from a Mason Greenwood. But he has been doing quite well at Marseille from 2024 up to this point. 33 appearances there, and I think 19 goals. Absolutely impressive. A player who has been making waves, a player who has been generational talent, and he has been making himself be known that regardless of what happened in the past, it's all about my career. I want to become a legend of the game, and I am making the world knows that I am solid. I can be better than what you even think. And Jamaica, as a fan, I need to see Mason Greenwood playing either as a winger or as a center forward. All right, so let's evaluate what's happening with a Reese Nelson, because this guy, before he went to Fulham, who is currently injured, he has been at Arsenal for more than 6 seasons, and it is so sad that such a blistering talent has not played in excess of 20 Premier League games for Arsenal. Doesn't have to start, but let's say he comes from the bench, but he has not played in one season more than 20 games in the Premier League for Arsenal, and went on loan. Currently at Fulham, he is injured, not enough games covered. So, what is there to say really about this guy? Is he the man that should be the complement for Mason Greenwood? And people, not to worry, I'm going to show you a comparison between himself and a Jonathan Rowe, just for things to be more seen and believing. All right, so this guy, Reese Nelson, he has been a very technical player, sharp, no doubts about that. And the thing is about him, though, he lacks consistency based on minutes. Do he lacks consistency based on quality? I would not say yes, because a player would need game time to really and truly show if he's up to par or not up to par. So I know that this player, he can trip in, let's say from a bench option, and hits the ground running with an impactful goal. But I think he has the potential based on his experience to even be a starter. When he was at Feyenoord, he did very well in his time there. Arsenal, we see glimpse, and Fulham not so much because of injury. So what is there to really say about a Reese Nelson that can say, all right, based on even the poll, he would be the best option to complement a a Mason Greenwood. But not to worry, let's talk about Jonathan Rowe. So upon evaluating Jonathan Rowe, then again he's younger than a Reese Nelson. So Jonathan Rowe, he is not close to his peak, in his early 20s as a player, and very much versatile, very much fast pace, a player who can play as a right winger, but a player who also plays from the left hand side. If you reflect on his days at Norwich City, you see that this guy isn't an easy nut to crack. He's not the tallest player, but this guy comes with a lot of power. And to reflect on Reese Nelson, he's 25 years of age. Jonathan Rowe is about 21, 22. So that is about 3 years apart. So Reese Nelson would have more experience, but Jonathan Rowe has been playing a lot of games underneath his belt. I mean, Jonathan Rowe, before I even talk about his time here at Marseille, he has been one of the top players for Norwich within those times. And looking on how well he performs for such club, man, I'm telling you, that is the reason why I did a video on him in the past to say then Jamaica should go and have a scout of this player. I don't think it was publicly stated that this guy would love to play for Jamaica, but based on his eligibility, I believe that this guy, if not start, he would add depth for the national team. And to play from the left-hand side as well, it would be brilliant. 34 games I can reflect on when he played in the championship for Norwich from 2023 to 24, about 12 goals, 2 assists. I have never seen Reese Nelson played so many games and even score so many goals. So, what is it that Reese Nelson could have over this player now to say then, all right, let's go for Nelson. But then again, remember, I will do a comparison between both players. Let's say more so on the recent season. Now, with Jonathan Rowe being at Olympique Marseille, 27 games, he has scored about 3 goals, right? He has still been doing more. He's available, he's playing more, he's being more provable, he's developing as a younger player. So it looks more in favor of a Jonathan Rowe, if I should say, let me choose from this stage. But you know what? Let me just jump into what you guys would want to see then to make your own decision as to why I, that is for you, would go for a Nelson or a Jonathan Rowe. We're seeing the details here on the screen, and Nelson has a better ratings, 7.05 to Rowe 6.82. So it showed that for a Reese Nelson on the heat map, he's more dominant as a left winger. You can see the red colors there showing how impactful Reese Nelson can be playing in the Premier League, which is a more intense league than when compared to the French league or the championship. But the championship, as we know, a lot of games have been played there, so it's a difficult league as well. And to let you know, Reece Nelson has even played outside of England as well. So it's not a case to say that he's only playing in England. Remember, Feyenoord is in a different country in the Netherlands. But Jonathan Rowe has played in England and in the League One. So let's match them up then to say a seesaw motion as well. So this season, 41 minutes per game for a Reece Nelson. For a Jonathan Rowe, 28 minutes per game. So you're seeing right away that Reece Nelson is more playing games based on minutes, if we should leave it at that stage. Now, total minutes played, I mean, Jonathan Rowe has played more, 746. So even though Nelson has played more minutes per game in terms of totality, actively, Jonathan Rowe heads him there. Appearances, Jonathan Rowe has lead right there with goals, Rowe again, expected goals, Rowe again. Remember, Rowe is playing more games. I think if Nelson was more so available, I don't want to outrightly say then he's going to score more. He would have to play for us to make that judgment, but he was capable to do so because Fulham would not have much pressure like an Arsenal system. And in a Fulham system, maybe he would get more game time, even though Alex Iwobi has been playing more so as a left wing option, but he also can play as a 10, just like a Smith Rowe. So I think there will be more opportunities for a Reece Nelson. So, I mean, even looking at the passing accuracy, I mean, assist wise, again, Rowe is more expected assist, Rowe is more, and you know what I have said earlier on about that. But I mean, the defensive aspect of things, it looks as if Reece Nelson is somewhat better in terms of interception, tackles, but is it a case I am looking at on the fact that which one of these players would complement from an attacking perspective more or a defensive perspective more to balance the team? I am looking on it from a attacking perspective or a complementary perspective than for a Greenwood. So let's say one would assist more, one would score goals more. Who complements a Mason Greenwood better? Right? So I think based on the data being showed here, what would be the final verdict? A Reece Nelson or a Jonathan Rowe? Then again, Jonathan Rowe has been playing alongside a Mason Greenwood at Marseille. So, hands down, most persons like myself who assess what is taking place currently would go for a Jonathan Rowe because he can play more games. He has been more impactful. He has scored more goals in one season, right? He has covered more game time, in totality. And yes, it is somewhat of a balance based on leagues, but Reece Nelson has not been consistently known as a player who can start games. On the other hand, a Jonathan Rowe would. But I'm not saying I'm writing off Reece Nelson because a lot of Jamaican fans here are huge fans of Reece Nelson. But let's be real. Jonathan Rowe has been more impactful than a Reese Nelson. So just to conclude things here before I go, the age for these players are like this. Current club for Reese Nelson, Fulham on loan, Rowe, Marseille on loan. In the Premier League, 11 games for Nelson, 27 for Rowe in League One. One goal for Nelson, three for Jonathan Rowe. So in terms of, let's say, versatility, it's moderate for Nelson, but for a Jonathan Rowe, it is high, multiple attacking roles. But we want to then say Mason Greenwood would play as a right winger, or maybe he plays a forward. Jonathan Rowe can play as a right winger and also as a left winger, more so adding depth to the national team, competing also with a Demarai Gray because we're limited in that space. So, I mean, he's fitting in better in the Jamaica system. So, in terms of even injury history, it's moderate for Reese Nelson, minimal for Jonathan Rowe. So the similarity between these players is that both of them played for England at the under 21 levels. So when comparing these players head to head, Rowe comes out on top in terms of form, flexibility, and durability. So people, as Jamaican fans, as we would love to see everything unleashed by Mason Greenwood, is more so available if all goes well for us with his papers. And Jonathan Rowe may not be the player who has received enough recognition, but has been more available, performing better, being more consistent than a Reese Nelson. So for me, dynamics, consistency, and tactical choices, I think Jonathan Rowe will be the rightful partnership for a Mason Greenwood to unlock his potential or to keep on assisting him in that balanced way, whereas he can continue doing what he's doing at Marseille, and if all goes well in the Jamaica system. So Jamaica, I think, I mean, this guy Jonathan Rowe is a good option. So what do you think? Should this guy Jonathan Rowe be the best option to complement a Mason Greenwood? From the statement, Nelson or Rowe, the perfect partner for Mason Greenwood in Jamaica system. For me, Jonathan Rowe, but the documentation and the links and the scouting has to be done. If he does not come to Jamaica before the World Cup, then I'm hoping then that down the line Jamaica system improve, which will attract this player because I think right now he has been more so a better player than a Reese Nelson. So people, I mean, it is for you now to let me know what you think in the comment section. Drop your comments, let me know what you think, and when you do so, Premier 7 will instantly or try my best to reply. So you all take care, goodbye, until we meet again.